Xi Jinping seeks united front with Latin America, repeating there are no winners in trade wars. Donald Trump talks about a possible dialogue with President Xi soon. And victory for Marcos allies in Philippine midterm elections, while former President Duterte appears to have won the Davao City mayorship. Hello and welcome to TVB News. I'm Melissa Hekalea. President Xi Jinping today commented on trade and tariffs following yesterday's announcement that China and the U.S. are rolling back most of the tariffs. During the opening of the China-CELAC Forum ministerial meeting in Beijing, Xi stressed there are no winners in trade wars and presented a united front with Latin American leaders at the event. Jackie Lin with more.
President Xi Jinping attended the opening of the ministerial meeting involving China and CELAC, or Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, in the morning.
贸易战没有赢家.
Following the latest China-U.S. joint tariff reduction agreement, Xi said only through solidarity and collaboration can the world safeguard peace, stability and prosperity. Xi stressed that trade wars benefit no one, hegemony and bullying will only lead to isolation. As both China and Latin American countries are vital members of the Global South, it's their right to promote development and common goal to pursue justice. With the ministerial meeting of the China-CELAC Forum in Beijing marking its 10th anniversary this year, Xi called for deeper integration to counter global fragmentation and the promotion of democratic international relations. Looking ahead, Xi announced 5 initiatives from China, encouraging more Chinese investment in Latin America, providing 66 billion yuan in credit to the region and offering visa-free access to 5 CELAC nations to boost tourism, while expanding cooperation on disaster management and cybersecurity, as well as efforts against terrorism, corruption, and transnational organized crime.
中国有句古诗
Citing an ancient Chinese poem, Xi said true joy in life lies in mutual understanding, and that resonates with a Latin American proverb that says, "He who has a friend has a treasure." Xi told the forum whatever the international situation, China will always be a good friend and partner to Latin America and the Caribbean. Jackie Lin, TVB News.
U.S. President Donald Trump said he might hold talks with President Xi Jinping at the end of this week. This comes after the U.S. and China agreed to drastically lower tariffs in a bid to de-escalate trade tensions. Meanwhile, China has reportedly agreed to allow domestic airliners to accept Boeing jets and lift its export restrictions on rare earth minerals and magnets. Danny Cho reports.
Two of the world's largest economies are seemingly hitting the brakes on the trade war for now after sparking fears of an economic recession worldwide. Following icebreaker talks in Switzerland, Washington is cutting the extra levies it imposed on Chinese imports in April from 145% to 30% for the next 3 months. Chinese tariffs on the US were dropped to 10% from 125%. The White House released an order saying, starting from tomorrow, the US government will also cut the de minimis tariff on shipments from the Chinese mainland, Hong Kong and Macau to 54%, down from the previous 120%. The minimum flat fee of $100 will remain in place. US President Donald Trump was upbeat about the negotiations, saying they led to a reset between the two nations.
We achieved a total reset with China after productive talks in Geneva. The relationship is very, very good. I'll speak to President Xi maybe at the end of the week. We have some other things we're doing.
World Trade Organization Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala called the meeting a significant step forward. She urged both sides to develop practical solutions to further mitigate tensions, restore predictability, and boost confidence in the multilateral trading system. The United Nations also hailed the progress as a positive sign for the global economy.
It's very positive for the world economy, and we've always said that we don't need any escalation in the trade war. We need dialogue. I think the Secretary General has been very clear that no one wins in a trade war.
As part of the consensus, China and the United States will take aggressive actions to stem the flow of fentanyl to illicit drug producers in North America. Trump told reporters that China will fully open its markets to U.S. businesses. While the time of the next round of high-level talks with China has not yet been decided, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent outlined the possibility of a meeting in the coming weeks when both sides are ready. Still, Bessent acknowledged it could take years to reset Washington's trade relationship with Beijing. China's People's Daily argued in a commentary that the weekend meeting is a good start for future negotiations. But to tackle the root cause of the problem, the US needs to fundamentally rectify its wrongdoing of imposing unilateral tariffs. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
During yesterday's press conference at the White House, U.S. President Donald Trump praised the progress in trade negotiations with Beijing. Trump noted fully opening China can contribute to peace and unification without further elaborating on his comments.
And they've agreed to open China, fully open China. And I think it's going to be fantastic for China. I think it's going to be fantastic for us. And I think it's going to be great for unification and peace.
A spokesperson for the U.S. State Department addressed the ambiguity, reaffirming Washington's long-standing policy on Taiwan has not changed. He stated Trump's use of the term unification was in the context of the U.S.-China trade relationship and bore no connections to Taiwan. The spokesperson said the U.S. has an abiding interest in peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait and stressed opposition to unilateral changes to the status quo by either side. Hong Kong Post has continued its suspension of parcel deliveries to the United States, despite Washington's decision to lower tariffs on small ticket packages from mainland China and Hong Kong. Last month, Hong Kong Post halted the acceptance of parcels containing goods bound for the U.S., citing its refusal to collect or process any tariffs on behalf of U.S. authorities. While U.S. Customs has reportedly reduced the duty rate on lower value shipments, Hong Kong Post's website has seen no updates on resuming services. The head of Hong Kong Shippers Council said, while reduced tariffs may offer some relief, extra customs procedures will likely keep operational costs high. In the Philippines, allies of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. look set to win at least half of the available Senate seats in midterm elections. The contest is seen as a referendum on Marcos's leadership and a fierce proxy battle with his estranged vice president, Sara Duterte. While both of them are not on the ballot, Sara Duterte's father is. Despite his detention thousands of miles away in The Hague, where he faces trial at the International Criminal Court, Rodrigo Duterte appears to have been elected as mayor of Davao City by a landslide. Tracy Furness has more.
Philippine Vice President Sara Duterte greeted supporters as she arrived at a polling station in Davao City ahead of the country's midterm elections. She is considered a strong contender for the 2028 presidential race ahead of an impeachment trial in the Senate over charges that include alleged misuse of public funds and plotting to assassinate President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., his wife, and the House Speaker. If convicted, she will lose her job and be disqualified from holding public office forever. To be acquitted, she needs at least 9 of the 24 senators to vote in her favor. Another contender in the Senate race, boxing legend Manny Pacquiao, looking to be returned for a second time. During his first time, Pacquiao was criticized for absenteeism as he continued to pursue his boxing career while in office. He retired in 2021 as a 12-time world champion after losing to Yordenis Ugas in a WBA welterweight world champion bout. After this election, 46-year-old Pacquiao will reportedly announce his return to the ring with a July 19th comeback fight in Las Vegas against Mexico's Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight championship. Polls around the Philippines closed at 7 p.m. Monday, but voters still in line in some areas were allowed to cast their ballots. Over 68 million Filipinos registered to vote Monday for half of the 24-member Senate, all the 317 seats in the House of Representatives, and various positions in provinces, cities and municipalities. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Narendra Modi threatened Pakistan with more potential military action despite a ceasefire. The Indian Prime Minister says his country has only paused its military action and will retaliate on its own terms if there is any attack on India. They were his first public comments since Saturday's understanding between India and Pakistan to stop all military actions, which came after a deadly gun attack in Kashmir that killed 26 tourists. India blames the Pakistan government. Islamabad denies involvement. Modi says if there is a terrorist attack on India, we will respond very strongly. Terror and talks cannot go together. Still ahead, Zelensky says he will only meet with Putin in Istanbul on Thursday and no one else. 2 new COVID infections involving children. And robots ready to revolutionize Hong Kong's construction sector. Welcome back. A source close to Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says he will only meet with Russia's Vladimir Putin, no one else. And if that doesn't happen, Zelensky may pull out of planned peace talks. It's not clear whether Putin or Zelensky will meet at or even attend a meeting in Turkey on Thursday. U.S. President Donald Trump says he may try to take a detour from his Middle East trip to be in Istanbul. David Garrett reports.
President Recep Tayyip Erdogan confirming ceasefire talks between Russia and Ukraine are planned in Turkey on Thursday. He's spoken with both leaders, Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky, but didn't say whether the pair will be present in Istanbul. Erdogan says this is a window to end the bloodshed. Turkey has the trust of all parties, and he hopes this opportunity will not be wasted. Donald Trump, who arrived in the Middle East earlier today, said there is a chance he may try to be in Istanbul, causing a flurry of diplomatic activity.
I'm the one that insisted on the meeting. They couldn't get a meeting because one said ceasefire, one said no ceasefire, was going back and forth. I said, look, at this point, we got to stop it. Just go to the meeting. The meeting's been set. Go to the meeting on Thursday. And if I thought it would be helpful, I don't know where I'm going to be at that particular point. I'll be someplace in the Middle East, but I would fly there if I thought it would be helpful.
Zelensky says he would like to see Trump at the Ukraine-Russia talks. A source telling Reuters, though, that Zelensky may not show up if he doesn't speak with Putin. In his latest address, Ukraine's leader called for direct negotiations with Putin. I'm ready to come to Turkey, Zelensky says. Unfortunately, the world has not received a response from Russia to the numerous proposals for a ceasefire. Both sides continue to report drone attacks on each other overnight, with those crunch talks in Turkey just 2 days away. David Garrett, TVB News.
U.S. President Donald Trump has arrived in Saudi Arabia in the first major trip of his second term, with his focus on business deals rather than the war in Gaza. Trump was welcomed by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. They had an initial meeting at the airport that was followed by a meeting over tea and coffee. Several business leaders, including Elon Musk, are traveling with Trump. He plans to make deals in Saudi which could total $1 trillion. The president will also visit Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. Meanwhile, Trump shrugged off criticism, saying he intends to accept a free replacement for Air Force One from the Gulf state of Qatar. Trump says he will take the gift and simply say thank you, despite accusations it could influence policy or be a security threat. Trump used the current Air Force One to fly to Saudi Arabia, where he landed earlier. He's frequently complained about the 2 jets that have been used to fly U.S. presidents for 40 years. Trump says he won't use the new airplane after his term ends, as it will go to his presidential library. The Democratic opposition are outraged, and the U.S. Constitution prohibits federal officials from accepting things of value from foreign governments. Trump's team says it is working within the law. Before leaving for the Middle East, the president was asked whether it would be better to say thanks, but no thanks.
Let me tell you, you should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, 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 don't give us, I want to pay you $1 billion or 400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much. It's not a gift to me, it's a gift to the Department of Defense. And you should know better, because you've been embarrassed enough, and so has your network. Your network is a disaster. ABC is a disaster.
Chief Executive John Lee arrived in Kuwait on the third day of his Middle Eastern tour. Lee will stay in the country for 2 days. The Hong Kong delegation was welcomed by Basil Aisaba, an advisor from the Kuwaiti Prime Minister's office, and China's ambassador to Kuwait, Zhang Jianwei. Lee said they will attend a roundtable meeting with local officials. In the morning, Lee met with the Emir of the State of Kuwait at the Bayan Palace. Lee said he mentioned the signing of a free trade agreement with Gulf Cooperation Council member countries. The Middle East has stepped up efforts in developing innovation and technology. With that, some Hong Kong companies that have successfully entered the region say investors there are open to funding new and emerging industries. Jackie Lin with more.
Evan Kwok runs a risk management firm offering products related to a range of issues from blockchain to pet insurance. 2 years ago, Kwok spotted early potential in the Middle East and is among the trailblazers from Hong Kong to launch blockchain-based protection tools in the UAE and Saudi Arabia. He also developed the region's first blockchain system in the local language. In just 18 months, his company has secured a 40% market share. Kwok said the Middle East is pivoting from an oil-based to a non-oil economy, and that brings massive opportunities. He said the region wants to formalize blockchain with solid regulations and governance, unlike the West, where people often invest just because they expect prices to rise. Another success story is a company founded by Rico Yu. Her team uses 3D printing tech to produce terracotta tiles designed to restore coral reef, an innovation that caught the eye of Abu Dhabi's sovereign wealth fund. The coral restoration project is now underway in the Arabian Gulf. Yu said her green tech startup occupies a niche field, and they are lucky to find visionary partners here willing to integrate sustainability into their future economic growth. Cyberport, which has led delegations to the region since 2022, has been matching Middle Eastern investors with Hong Kong's fintech and environmental tech firms. Jackie Lin, TVB News.
Director of the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office, Xia Baolong, has wrapped up his 6-day tour in Macau. Speaking with local business leaders, Xia laid out 4 key expectations for them to uphold national interests and demonstrate a fighting spirit. Xia drew a contrast between those yielding to hegemonic pressure and those who stand firm, saying some businesses neglect national interest for their own profit and they will be disdained by the Chinese people. Xia said those having a backbone to stand up and fight will be praised. Macau's chief executive Sam Ho Fai said Xia's remarks have helped give direction to their work in the SAR, including building awareness towards crises and turbocharging diversified economic development. The subsidiary legislation for safeguarding national security takes effect today. The government proposed it yesterday. The new legislation was gazetted and signed by active Chief Executive Eric Chan as the city's leader, John Lee, is on a business trip. Samantha Lee reports.
The new subsidiary legislation used negative vetting procedures, which means the law commences on the day of gazettal. The new legislation includes details about the work and authority of the Office for Safeguarding National Security. Government departments, agencies, or civil servants must provide necessary and reasonable assistance as requested by the National Security Office. Meanwhile, 6 premises where the National Security Office performs its duties have been declared prohibited places. They include 3 on Hong Kong Island and 3 in Kowloon. Locations on Hong Kong Island include the National Security Agency's office in Causeway Bay, the Island Pacific Hotel on Connaught Road West, and the City Garden Hotel in North Point. The police cordoned off the site and put PTU tactical buses on standby. In Kowloon, the 3 prohibited places are the Metro Park Hotel in Hong Kong, the junction of Hoi Fai Road and Sham Mong Road, as well as Hoi Fong Road, where the agency's building is under construction. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
The number of COVID cases in Hong Kong is on the rise as the Center for Health Protection revealed 2 new infection cases involving children. An infectious disease expert said there may already be a small-scale outbreak and young children should be vaccinated twice. The 2 infected children are both staying in the intensive care units of Queen Mary hospitals. One of them, a 17-month-old baby girl who hasn't been vaccinated against COVID, is in critical condition. The other child is a 13-year-old girl who'd received 1 dose of the vaccine. The Center for Health Protection said 5 serious COVID cases have been recorded so far this year. 3 of the infected children were not vaccinated. The Housing Authority is gradually introducing construction robots for various tasks in public housing projects, hoping to improve efficiency and reduce accident risks. Celine Chan has more.
By simply pressing a button on a tablet, this wall painting robot will move its nozzle to a preset height and perform tasks such as spray painting and applying plaster. Operators can monitor the robot's work from a safe distance. This operator shared that the robot made their work much safer, as they no longer needed scaffolding like they used to when operating manually at a height of 5 to 6 meters. This type of robot is already being used in public housing construction projects with a maximum construction height of 6 meters. Meanwhile, this tile-laying robot uses optical and tilt sensors to align tiles before installation. Through slight vibrations, it reduces hollow tile defects and helps to achieve an overall efficiency 4 times higher than manual labor. The Housing Authority is also exploring the use of robots for rebar tying, welding and cutting, noting that several robotic systems for these tasks are already quite advanced, especially in painting. The HA organized a Robo Paint Master competition, pitting 5 painting robots against each other, 2 of which are already deployed in public housing projects. Secretary for Housing Winnie Ho shared that in public housing projects with a standard floor comprising 24 units, traditional methods will require 8 skilled workers for wall finishing, while only 2 operators would be needed when using a robotic system. She believes the application of construction robots would not only boost productivity and quality, but also helps to create a safer and healthier working environment for frontline workers. Currently, more than 20 public housing projects have already adopted the construction robotic system. The Housing Bureau anticipates an additional 30 projects will adopt the system by 2027. Celine Chan, TVB News.
That's the news. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening.